Hello and welcome to Business Talk, brought to you by the Sharonville Chamber of Commerce. I'm Britt Scares with Emory Federal Credit Union. I'm your host, and today here in studio we have Peggy Friedhoff with AlwaysOn Communications here to talk to us about your online presence. Hello, Peggy.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. So, if I'm a business, whether I'm, a big business or a small business, do I need to have an online presence? That seems like a silly question.
It seems like a silly question, and it is. It's so incredibly obvious that you need an online presence. There are so many different ways to do that, but people are depending on an online presence to find you. So word of mouth, while it's good, still need it. Your online presence needs to be there as well.
So I really need to have a functioning website and kind of be visible that way, at least be findable with a website.
That is the lowest common denominator. You definitely need a website of some sort, and that's how Google, that's how your visitors, that's how people are going to find you online. They're going to know who you are, what you do, what time you do it, where you're located. It seems very basic, it seems very obvious these days that you should have a website, but it's amazing how many people have a website but have it wrong, do it wrong. And what I was hoping that we could talk about today is just how to make it a little bit more effective. People usually, some business will just put it out there, kind of like an electronic Rolodex card. You just put it out there and it's got my hours, it's got my time, I'm good, and that's it.
Here's a picture of us.
Right, and that's just not the case. You need to make it sure that, number one, that it's mobile responsive. And what I mean by that is so that you can, when someone goes to your website, no matter what type of screen they're looking at, they're going to be able to see it, they're going to be able to manipulate it, they're going to be able to interact with it without pinching and twisting and all that good stuff.
Doing all the gymnastics with your fingers to be able to see it.
That's exactly right. And Google will ding you if you don't.
Okay.
If you don't have a mobile responsive and you just have something like a mobile friendly, which used to be a big thing a few years ago, Google will say, oh, you're not doing it right. You're not giving our viewers what they want. So your rankings are going to go down. So that's the most important thing that you need to do these days.
So Google's pretty important.
Oh, again, crazy obvious. You think?
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. Yes, Google is very important, and Google is going to actually, with all the things that you need to do for Google, you do get some things back. There are some reporting tools, Google Analytics, for example, that you can put into your website to tell you not only who came to your site, how they got there, what kind of device they were using when they got there, how long they stayed on a page, and what they did and how they interacted. And those are all good tools that you would love to have for all the energy and time that you're putting into the website, of course.
And you're not necessarily paying for that, are you?
No. There are paid things that you can do with Google, but these are the basics, and they're open to everyone who has a website.
And they do a lot of stuff for free, actually, to kind of help you, kind of be found.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Because Google sees everyone as their client, so they want to make sure that everyone's experience is good. So that's why they do, want to make sure that you're following the rules and doing it the way everybody else is doing.
Now, how often do they change the rules on how to, because you have all these companies that tell you, oh, we can get you to the top of the first page of Google, and then of course, 3 weeks from now that could be completely different, and they don't necessarily tell you, what they changed, do they?
And no, that is a best kept secret on purpose, and it changes realistically all the time. 18 months is kind of what the industry says, every 18 months, but I'm here to tell you that it could change monthly depending on what it is and what they're doing. It's a very fast-moving market, and it's kept secret on purpose because they want to level the playing field. That's really important.
So they give you analytics, and they actually have kind of made it to where I think, even though you have to have that base website kind of thing that you said, that's kind of the basics, but now they kind of put that little tab up when if someone Googles your company, you get this little kind of, I don't know, like a little business card, a little profile that pops up there that really has about everything somebody wants to know about the company right there. Tell me a little bit about that, and how do we manage that, or can we manage that?
Oh, absolutely, and that's my second fundamental that we wanted to talk about is Google My Business. If you haven't heard about it, if you don't know about it, Google it because it's really, really, really important. It is. It's a snapshot, and it's your chance to actually tell Google what you want to be seen by visitors. For example, we'll take your company, Emory Federal Credit Union. If I don't know your URL and I don't, I want to get to your website, or I want to find out if you're going to be open on Memorial Day. I can type in Emory Federal Credit Union into my search window, and when you hit enter, on the left side, you're going to see all the things that are Emory related. It could be something from maybe even another organization, but on the right is what you're talking about. On the right, there's a profile card, and that information is coming directly from Google My Business, which is something Emory would control and maintain.
Okay.
So what that does is it gives you photos of your buildings, a button where you can get directions. You can see the hours right there. You can actually see the reviews. So if someone has left a review, their experience, because Google wants everybody to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
So you can actually see some reviews, and you can actually leave a review if you wanted to. You
Wow.
can see photographs. You can do all kinds of things, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But again, as the administrator, your administrator would go in and they get reports back of how many people actually accessed that. So how many people looked at those photos?
And click through off of it.
How many people called as a result of having that button right there to call through? How many people visited your website? How well are the posts doing? And you can actually put events and things like that you wouldn't normally find on the left side of that screen. You can put events in your Google My Business so they show up in that profile card.
That's
For example,
great.
I know I think Emory's coming up with a shred event.
Yep.
You could put that out there, and you can actually invite people from there and get that information out without the person even knowing that you have it. Oh, they've got something coming up.
Yeah.
When it's done, post pictures about it as well. So it's a separate thing that's free from Google, hosted by you, controlled by you, maintained by you. So there, you've got your website, you got to maintain that, and now I'm telling you, you need to maintain this other site, but I'm going to tell you the benefits are well worth it. And it's not that tough to do.
Yeah, I mean, Google has just pretty much made themselves so valuable to every business, and I think if people don't really, if they think they're just old school and well, they know where we're at and that kind of thing, you're missing out a lot by not managing these free resources.
Absolutely, they're part of the fabric of how you should be thinking about your marketing and your online presence for sure.
Now, as a business, we have all these social media platforms.
So many.
So as a business owner or a business person, I mean, I might not be on all those myself personally,
Right.
And might not understand them all personally that well. So which ones should I be on?
Well, the basics. There are so many of them, and it depends really on who your target audience is. So if you're a business and you're doing a B2C kind of business, Facebook, obviously. Facebook, Twitter, and there are several others, Instagram, Pinterest, all those others are players that are very, very high in the rankings. But if you're a business and you're doing B2B or B2C, Facebook is still number one.
Okay.
Even with all the problems that they've had with security and things like that, they're still number one. They have 2.8 billion users on Facebook, and
Wow.
every single day, this is a new stat, actually at the end of 2018, 1.5 billion people log in each and every day.
Man.
For a minimum, average rather, of 58 minutes.
I mean, I'm logged in all the time. It's an app on my phone. I mean,
There you
it's
go.
like
Yeah, and it dings at you.
it dings when I'm close to a certain place that or something's
Kind of creepy, but yeah.
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 And so many other businesses too now. I mean, they'll pretty much push all of their invites through Facebook. I mean, so you're invited to different events, and you even, like RSVP through Facebook, and I
Right.
mean, it's really, I don't know, I mean, I know some folks that don't even have a Facebook, but I'm thinking of all the things that I'm connected to that, I stay connected with Facebook, and I say I'm going to an event through Facebook, and
And then it reminds you.
Yeah.
Don't
have
forget
this
that
coming
event.
up. Yeah.
Yep, that's
And it's
exactly
helpful.
right.
I wouldn't know anybody's birthdays if it wasn't for Facebook.
Well, there's a regular calendar for that too, but that's all right. But yeah, so Facebook is important. That's a no-brainer. Twitter is important if you're a service-oriented kind of business. In fact, I don't know if you remember this, but Twitter is actually on its way out in 2015-16 until the election of 2016, and then it had a resurgence.
Okay.
It was actually kind of being phased out. It was kind of one of those, don't
Well,
bother.
didn't think it was going to make it.
And then with the 2016, everything changed, and now it's the number 2 social media platform, and it's more for people who are following news and trends and
Yeah.
wants immediate information right away. If you're a company that's service-based, a lot of people are taking to Twitter to say, hey, I have a question or a concern about your product, and for those people who are following, to get that information back pretty quickly versus going to the website and then trying to do contact that way. So that's a platform for people who are kind of doing back and forth kind of things, and trends and kind of fun stuff. But the platform that I think is kind of the best kept secret that's not a secret too much anymore is LinkedIn. LinkedIn, if you are a business, it's B2C, B2B, it's an employer. You can actually look, if you're an employer looking for employees, it's a gold mine. If you're an employee looking for maybe another employer, it can be a gold mine. It just kind of crosses all those boundaries. And because the people that are on LinkedIn, you can actually show your expertise, you can show what your company does and how well they do it. You can get testimonials, all the kind of back and forth that you don't really get on some of the Facebook and Twitter. It's a little bit, it's more genuine and it's more specific to your business. But the thing that's actually very, very interesting about this is that the people that you would connect with on LinkedIn are actually the decision makers most of the time.
Yeah.
You've gone through, how tough is it for a salesperson to get past the gatekeeper,
the
right?
business managers and the CEOs and the CFOs and all of those folks, most of them, are on LinkedIn.
Exactly.
And you can actually, connect with them and, be
start
able
the
to actually,
relationship?
start, like message them and start some sort of a dialogue sometimes that like you said, you wouldn't be able to do just calling in or stopping by. Or
sending them a brochure or whatever, 4 out of 5 LinkedIn members are decision makers. 4 out of 5.
Wow.
And then of those people, they typically have 2 times the buying power. So if you're a good match for that company, you're talking to the person who can make a decision and has the resources to make it happen.
Wow.
And more actually colleges, both my kids are in college, and they actually kind of teach a class on how to build your profile and how to go out and link into people who might be able to help you with your future endeavors. There's a place that you, even as an employer, you can go out, there's a place right there on the top of the toolbar saying that you can actually post a job, and you would filter. You can say, okay, I want a person that has these skill sets and this, and it will filter that for you.
Wow.
And it's crazy cheap.
That's a great tool.
It's $12 for each person that clicks through to your thing that's a good candidate.
Yeah. Wow.
And you can do that for a week or a month or whatever. So it's it's the
and I see people post all the time really good articles. Like you said, being able to highlight their expertise and my gosh, I mean, if you're on those 3 that we just talked about, I mean, you're connected to just about everybody.
Right. Somebody that's connected to somebody else. Yeah, so it definitely, I see people that have rolled their eyes on the whole LinkedIn, or they just leave, you go to the profile and there's just a little gray circle with a, no face, and they're missing the boat, and that's a basic.
Fill out your profile,
It's a basic, and it doesn't cost anything, just your time.
It's a way to keep up your resume too. You kind of keep it all up there. It's at a glance, it's right there.
Well, people will look at that first before they'll look at your resume these days, and then they'll search your online presence first before they pick up the phone to give you a call for an interview or something like that. So all these things are important, and they're so basic and they seem so obvious, but it's
Well, I think a lot of folks, in their interviews, they actually see the person doing the interview will in many cases have copies of like their LinkedIn, profile page, maybe their Facebook, and like you said, they look at all that stuff first, and people don't realize that all that partying, all those fun pictures and everything, even though it's your personal Facebook, when you're trying to land a job or get into a particular school or something of that nature, even with the kids, they don't think that, well, I'm a kid, it shouldn't matter, right? But even schools and future employers look at that stuff.
Right, because they want to make sure that you're right for their culture. So a little bit of partying is great, but craziness, it may come back to haunt you.
Well, and the businesses also, a lot of people look at all of that presence too of the business to see if it's the kind of culture they would want to be associated with.
Exactly. Yeah. Associations. Again, it's all the connections, who you know, and it's very important that you want to present the best you that you can.
Yeah. Well, our guest has been Peggy Friedhoff with AlwaysOn Communications, talking about our online presence as as a business, no matter what size. Great information, Peggy. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You've been watching Business Talk, brought to you by the Sharonville Chamber of Commerce. I'm Britt Scarce with Emory Federal Credit Union. Until next time, we'll see you right here on Business Talk.